Hello YouTube, today is the 19th February 2016. I'm in my school and there are a few things I want to speak about today. One of these things is possible being cured by the Morgellons. So what that means? That means when I was sure that I was cured from Morgellons like 6 months ago, they came again. Rash, fibers, itchy, and of course disappointing. But past 6 months, so definitely past 3 months, I'm here in Bandung. I didn't have any Morgellons symptoms, and they've been slowly decreasing. So first things first, in Phnom Penh, and I lived in Phnom Penh since April last year. I've been hit with these things. I've been hit with the microwaves. Morgellons been creeping, and they've been connected with the microwaves. And then, of course, gang stalking, because the whole area, the center of such a big city, of course, that is heavily infected by the Illuminati. Pardon, infested. And then another thing which was problematic and almost killed me, that was the E. coli, one of the bacteria which is resistant on the antibiotics. So I did not have any Morgellon symptoms for some time, and things improved. I'm now explaining you how I came to that. Okay, things improved when I moved to Taweng, from a capital, from Phnom Penh, which is really a city I deeply dislike, to Taweng. And in Taweng, that was completely intuitive decision by my soul. I went to the area I don't know, I never been to, who actually been to that area. And then you know what, guys, I'm very certain that whatever I'm saying now about Morgellons, people who have Morgellons, people who've been frustrated with the Morgellons, people who feel down, they're not gonna be able to copy. Okay, this is not thing 1, 2, 3, 4, one of those self-help books with the 12 easy steps how to do something. And I will eventually explain you my dilemma, but you see, I didn't really do it. You understand me? I didn't really do it. It's been done for me. You understand? This is the point. So I'm trying to explain you how these things happen, how the healing happened, but that healing took about 6 months of work in Taweng, where I was pretty much doing either sitting meditation, walking meditation, standing meditation, meditation by the river, and the place where I was living was so incredibly full of prana. And then I've been taken through different stages of healing. So I will tell you the very first stage. The very first stage is when you successfully do again and again, month after month, the basic Malangas exercises, which are, guys, if you don't have a soul, or if you don't believe in soul, then you are screwed. Do not watch this video. Watch something else if this is your dilemma, if you're of different faith. Yeah? If you're Buddhist and you believe you don't have a soul, just don't watch it. Watch somebody else, okay? I'm the guy with the soul, and the soul was the one who helped me again and again and again, and this is why I trust her. So first I was doing this unification of a body, soul, and what I call metaphysical truth, and I was adapting to my own purposes, or it's been adapted for me by my soul, because very first thing in meditation is I put my consciousness into the soul, and then I put my ego away automatically, and then she is pretty much leading the meditation. So she would automatically visualize 3 dots very quickly and very efficiently, green, yellow, and the red. And then she would unite 2 of those, glowing yellow and green, and then start mixing it and immediately pulling the red inside, and then the effect of a rainbow would happen, but my soul wouldn't go all the way as Malanga suggested, only enough to feel integrated. And then she would, like a balloon from the bottom of the ocean, she would rise up to the source closest she can. Once connected with the source, soul would then tell me, okay, now I'm on, in the pod. It's like a pod. It's like where you put your mobile phone to recharge. And then recharging would occur. And during the process of recharging, more mindful I was in a way, but more my consciousness was centered in a soul consciousness, from ego, from this consciousness which is now talking to you. My consciousness would move into soul consciousness, and then it would start to communicate automatically with the energy download from the source. Source is here, and my soul is here. It's opposite on the screen. And then that recharging would occur, and during the recharging, different instructions would occur. In the beginning it would be okay, first integrate, then now it's a bell time, now you have to make another layer of protection by visualizing crystals, and 12 of them, and then connecting them so you can have like the outer layer of protection. Now step outside and then just observe the source, the body, and the soul working in the unison. This was one of the exercises. And then another exercise would be, okay, now it's time to understand 2 things. And these 2 things being always repeated. Every living thing, every energetic thing, everything which is even not alive, like a reptile in the real sense, not soul, means not really alive. Every of these things has a counter vibration which can immediately destroy it. This is a little trick. And then, I know this sounds funny, but in the same moment it would be explained to me that the biggest human problem would the biggest human problem is actually mosquito. That could be easily, with this technique, with the vibration which is matching mosquito's vibration but in opposite way, and simply destroying is a fabric. It's a fabric which is basically forming the DNA. You understand me? That fabric of light which is in mosquito, which is forming DNA, would be destroyed, disintegrated. So this I've been explained, that there is this kind of cure for everything, but there is another cure for everything, and this actually took a very long time to get there. So now you're gonna be even more skeptical when I say another name, Bruno Gröning. Okay, Bruno Gröning is virtually the only entity I was working with apart from my soul and a deeper level of my soul, which is source. I call it metaphysical truth. So I know. However, that person is really highly spiritually developed person, and it's dwelling outside of the matrix. If you really connect to him, and if you follow the steps, which first step is Regelung, you put yourself in comfortable position, feet down, palms up, then and this is Einstellung. This is basically taking a position. Then it comes Regelung, or taking the energy, and you feel it very quickly when you connect with him. You feel the energy going through you, and then that Heil energy, Heilstrom, the holy energy, would come through me. I was using this technique with success very long time, and it was with me. It was adapted this way. At one stage, and I'm talking about 6 months of pretty much all the time meditation, I would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and start my meditation, and I would go to bed between 6 and 8 p.m. So I would be explained one very crucial thing Gnostic people not gonna like. First of all, sun is your friend. Sun is not Lucifer. Lucifer is something else. Symbols are something else. These symbols are confusing you. Okay? If he took a symbol of a sun for his symbol for a decoy, that doesn't mean that a sun as an entity, as a person, is a bad. It's actually a very good person. Same goes with the Mother Earth. Earth is not negative as Gnostics are teaching you. Earth is extremely positive, and I will explain all of it. So these two entities, first the sun and the earth, they would help me to stabilize my energies. Okay? Do not forget that apart from my soul, the earth itself was leading me to the place where I was healed. And I need to say, I was actually not precisely where I was supposed to be due to the safety reasons. For a white person, is absolutely not safe to wander around in this area in northern Ratanakiri, because if you do, some of the locals gonna come with a machete and just kill you for $100. So therefore I could not really go into that part of the nature and enjoy my beautiful meditations because it was not safe for me. So I was staying mostly in my house. And then in that house, in that area, energy was good, but not nearly that good as it was in the outskirts of the Taweng, in a forest by the river where no people around. However, as I say, not a good idea. So it's really known area for that. Nothing is perfect. So another thing regarding, I would really connect myself with the earth. I would feel like as roots are going through my feet, and I was channeling that energy to her, and she was balancing my energy and feeding me virtually. I would feel this nourishing energy, and in the last stage, I was led to the, and it took very long time to. I was of course gradually healing myself. When I first came in Taweng, I had 60 kilos. I had numerous times different dengue fevers and so on. So I was gradually getting better and feeling more healthier and heavier, getting weight and getting stronger in all aspects. So the final stage was, and this is the thing with curing Morgellons. The final stage was when I was so connected that I could immediately connect with the healing energy. So you can, if you can ask the source for the healing energy, and then you simply connect. It's like a like a pressure from the hose. If you know that water pressure. It feels something like it, just going through you, and it's very nice, and you feel like it's cleaning you, and this was definitely the last thing. And after it, I was pretty much told that now it's time to get a job. really. After that finished, I was not really certain that I was cured for Morgellons, because I really need to say this. One of the biggest problems for me was that I believed that there is no cure for Morgellons apart from the EMP and divine intervention. Now I need to say it. I was trying to make an EMP, but I failed, and I was trying to make different gadgets, but I just didn't work because equipment was falling apart, and those technical things. I mostly had a problem with different parts and a bad quality of equipment while I was trying to. I don't really know the English word for that. Lota is to connect different parts of machine, and I was using this. I know it's not that important, but I just want to say it. I was using this little $1 LEM machines for connecting electric parts, but they've been like breaking every 5 minutes. The worst kind of quality you can get. But in Thailand you can get them cheaply. In Cambodia you can't get them at all. So at one point I ran out of the tools which been of the shittest possible quality. In some of the cases, 50% of the cases, you would immediately buy broken tool, broken from the beginning. So that's Asia. That's how it is. And but at least you can buy them. So, and then in the last phase that happened, I was just cured. Okay, why didn't I believe in it? Well, you see, it took forever to explain me how my ego works, and the biggest obstacle was in my ego, and my ego was explained to me in that process as a consciousness, which is part of the soul. Soul is conscious. However, when memory is taken off and you're put in the container like this body, which was born in the 1975 in the April and conceived somewhere in the 1974, so you go through the process, you get born on a planet of total ignorance, pretty much, yeah. And especially, I mean, I was born in socialist Yugoslavia, you know, what kind of spiritual truth you could get from there, really? And then whole that environment is then conditioning you, and you start to believe in certain things, and you start believing that certain things are impossible. Well, you know what? I was explaining something else. First of all, we live in the infinity of possibilities, and we live in the one of the versions of universes, and options are absolutely unlimited. So believing that something is impossible is utterly and fundamentally and theoretically and practically wrong, because everything is possible. And it took quite a bit of time, virtually for God himself and my soul, to explain me that simple truth. So, once that been explained, that there is this infinity of possibilities, then slowly, this infinity of possibilities start to work for me. What was the other thing? All right. Another thing is, although I in theory believe that God, as such, can help you out, I didn't really believe it in practice, because, let's face it, these things are called miracles for a reason. And you know what? Statistically speaking, they are statistical mistake. And everything below 5%, right, is statistical mistake. This is really a rule of statistics. So this was the reason why I really didn't really, as a Kruno, as an ego, I didn't really believe in that God helping me with the Morgellons. I mean, you know, God is pretty much moody, right? You know, and far away and so on. Well, you know what? It is very moody and it is very far away if you live in a shithole called Phnom Penh or a Rijeka or a Zagreb or New York, or in any place where Illuminati around you to brain and energy rape you and convince you that you can't. So I needed to be exported from the shithole, which is called the capital, into the forest to live with very primitive people, okay? But to get a prana. That place was only good for that. My meditations in Taweng, guys, you know what? That place was far away from perfect. When I was doing my walking meditation, I was pretty much on every day, especially when teenagers been in that house in front of me. I was going through the racist mantras. I was listening Chinga Chok Farang all the time, and which means Chinga means virtually as in Spanish, fuck your mother, you know, Farang, Farang, ha 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 ha, cow, cow. So that was, you know, that matrix was around me there, and it was really badly influencing my meditations, but I was pulling through. Because I've been constantly explaining, even when they've been like hitting me with the waves of extremely bad energy, and you know what, if you have like 10, 15 people on one pile, as these people in third world countries are always piled on a pile, you know, and when you have 10, 15 people, you automatically have this dance of matrix, okay? And I will need to go into this. In statistics, you have something like Pareto's principle, which explains to you that 80% of people are making 20% of money, 20% of people are making 80% of money. Well, you know what? It's similar also to the teachings of Dr. Corrado Malanga. He's also saying that about 20% of people are sold. So 80% of people can be easily and automatically contacted by however you're gonna call it, a bitch, a metaphysical evil, the hive mind, the hive consciousness, whatever, matrix, that's a very cool term. However you got, or Christian term devil, good, easily. So I was going through these phases in Taweng, and you know what? Now I know that I'm jumping, but I'm really opening myself now when the system is working, when I can finally upload my thoughts on the internet and longer than 20 minutes or 15 minutes. That was the maximum. Guys, all I really envy Buddhist Sangha, Buddhist organization, is the infrastructure they have. You know what? Buddhists in their temples, in their monasteries, they have such a great infrastructure. They have these huge, expensive pieces of property. They have buildings. They have money. And with money, you can buy things you need. Okay? Social influence, all that. Unfortunately, they have, unfortunately, 95% of them are not meditating. Those 5% who do, they don't really have much time because they have shitloads of services to do, 4 hours of kneeling per day. And this is like a regular day. And then you have cleaning exercises, working meditations when you work your ass off. This is called working meditation, right? Because you can do it mindfully, right? So this part sucks. There is the whole Illuminati system there simply to prevent you, okay, of growing spiritually. And but infrastructure is awesome. And when I was in Taweng, I was really thinking, oh man, how would be perfect to be in some sort of monastery of my own with the walls around, where haters simply cannot hate me for meditating. That would be so perfect, and no ceremonies, no bullshit, just eating, sleeping, meditation, internet connection, because we need to study, right? Nobody really owns the truth. There is always a little bit to discover, and internet is a helpful tool also for sharing and communication as well. So I couldn't get that, but that was the best, the closest to the monastery I had, that place in Taweng. And especially last couple of months when teenagers moved, they fucked off somewhere to work, somewhere for $2 a day, I guess. So I had like more space and so on. But just to tell you how many houses I had like one house down the road, and it was partially military house. Shit was coming from that house. If I was going upstairs, if somebody from that house was even like looking in my direction, they would go immediately, just to take a bit of the prana through that hate. I had one military house on my left-hand side, and that guy was the best, absolutely. A single guy with a woman, and they never gave me any bad comments. They really the best neighbors I ever had, honestly, the best. Then I had this teenage house, this huge, typical third world house on pillars with people rotating in many cases, young people also coming for a couple of months and disappearing. And this was like, in certain periods, absolutely the worst kind of house, because teenagers would congregate there, and if you have male teenagers on a pile, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, and on other side of a street, if you have a white guy, guess what's gonna happen, right? Shitloads of racist hate. That's what's gonna happen. Then I had a Cubs house. That way, this was the most, I think, actually in continuum, the most negative group, because they've been like dominant and always throwing down things and comments and so on. And then I had one big family on this side. They been running a host kind of guest house, but I think I saw like 5 customers in 6 months altogether. I think one of the reasons is like it's like they've been like pretty much quiet unless they had the work days, and they would go like into racist hate toward me and so on. So with the locals was pretty much, if there are many on one group, on one pile, they immediately must throw down cow, farang, bon, chok, bon, cow, pa cow, pa. That means go white, go, and then they smile. Or farang chkai means white dog, or chinga or something. So I, sorry, but that hate, that pain is still in me, and you know, so especially because these two things been so close to each other, I would like lift myself up in a beautiful meditation. I would just go up and down, 12 steps up, 12 steps down, and I would like be connected and everything, and then I would, oh no, no, they're coming now. And then I would hear first teenagers, and then I would, oh shit. And then I would see the white light coming from there by the road, there, and you know what, it's Illuminati kid. Luckily, and this is something I need to say, luckily there was only one Illuminati family, so when that Illuminati kid would come in that group, then whole hate would explode. Oh, I was never wrong once I scanned him right, always that. So this is the thing I really must say it again. More Illuminati you have around you, more shit you have around you, more tentacles of evil to leech your prana you have around you. And that brings me to the topic of prana. The most important currency in this universe is not American dollar, it's not even gold, okay? It's this. It's called prana, and it's been pictures been taken on the Kirlian photography. So this basically means raw tomato, and you see the light around, and this is the cooked tomato. This is raw broccoli here, and next to it, other way, is cooked broccoli. Still has some prana. So why am I showing these pictures of prana? Because it's all about that. The all-seeing, all-knowing, shining, beautiful eye, that beautiful angel, is beautiful and shining only because it has so many billions and billions of little batteries to leech on. And the Illuminati are just workers in a corporation of leeching that life force from you, from me, from animals which are sold, from the Mother Earth, and then making themselves strong and making ourselves weak. This is the economy. This is, you know, the question, you know, the Greek question, why are we here? Well, answer is to be leeched. To be leeched. First to be this, then to be this, and then to be nothing. And then to recharge again, so be leeched again. So who are we? We are souls, okay? Where did we come from? Well, originally from the source of the all sources, but whatever happened, we don't have in a memory. Why are we here? To be exploited. Where are we going after we die? We go, if we don't escape, if miracle doesn't happen to destroy the civil system, then we're gonna be picked up by the machine, by the UFO operators. Welcome. Cylinder, pop, next. And after some time, after between 80 years and I would say even 400 years if it's needed, then you go into another life, and again and again and again and again. Which explains this. Today my kids learn new word. They knew quite a bit of the words from this. I didn't tell them what things are. I would ask him, what is this? And they would tell me, teacher, it's a plane, it's a plane. And I would ask, what is this? This is a plane. And what is this? And they would say, it's a helicopter, it's a helicopter. And I asked, what is this? And they looked at it and they didn't know. And I said, it's a submarine, it's a submarine. They virtually learned a new word, submarine, from one of the temples of ancient Egypt. Okay? And then I showed them submarine on the YouTube, real submarine, modern submarine, what they can do. So when civilization reaches a certain point that you have way too many souls on one planet and it's not sustainable any longer, I guess it's the time for depopulation, right? For harvesting, for mass harvesting. And then after that, it's a time for a new model to inhabit the farm. And our new model gonna be quite primitive. it's more gonna be more reptilian-like. But I guess good enough to harbor the soul inside, to harbor the container. So let me recapitulate this update. Morgellons, it's possible to cure. How you gonna cure it, I don't know. It took forever for me to get explained. And I was also said repeatedly that if I manage to hold Heilstrom 12 hours, if then any illness would be cured. Absolutely, it's impossible for illness to exist in a body that I hear some strange click sound. Illness to be existent anymore in your body. It's a really very strong amount of prana is then passing through whole your biofield. Biofield is same as aura. It's the same thing. We all have it. So when that is happening, well, this you can't see much here. This two different people, one with a nice aura, another one with a little bit blue. That means he's in the warring state of mind. So yeah, it's just the amount, should I say creator? Terms are a little bit bitchy, you know, because the moment I say God, I pretty much said Lucifer, because he's effectively the ruler of this domain. So the way I see it, it's just a beautiful loving thing. The truth is loving, and in that sense it's more like feminine, you know. I didn't say that God is a female. I said that love part feels more like mother, like feminine energy, more than a male. But the focus part is more like female. It's both active and passive, but more like on the loving side, really. I would say like 60% female, 40% male is the person of God. Do not take this to the bank, please. So that energy, that entity, that everything it is, has no problem with giving you energy. Problem is in you deprogramming yourself, okay? You need to deprogram yourself. You cannot do it yourself, because this is kind of catch-22, right? You cannot deprogram yourself because you already been mind controlled. So you need the outside help. Well, guess what? Where are you gonna get it? Where are you gonna meet the mind which is not mind controlled on the planet Earth? Oh, let me guess. Oh, your $200 shrink, not gonna work, still mind controlled. So the only way you can get it is metaphysically if you connect with your soul, and if your soul connects with the source, then you are virtually exiting the level of mind control, and then all of it can happen. And that's all. And the last thing I really want to say is, after I received impulse that it's time for me to get a job, I got a job 3 days after. That was it. It worked that fast. I was, of course, not very skeptical. I was like over my top skeptical. Job in a school. You know, is it possible non-Illuminati to have a school? Well, in theory, all is possible. Is it possible to have a job without political bullshit? Well, so far it's been almost 3 months that I work here. I didn't have political bullshit. You know what's political bullshit? It's the shit coming from the Illuminati. That's it. One way or another. Okay? So, so far was okay, but I'm not naive. I know that if bitch matrix system really wants me out, it will get me out. It's a master of lying. It's a master of influencing human minds. It can do absolutely anything that it wants. People like me are statistical mistake on this planet. Statistical mistake. We are mathematical mistake. So another thing, like if you find me on a Facebook, please write me down that you met me on a YouTube, okay? Because if you just send a friend request, then you know some weird people from time to time they send friend requests like so I have only 52 Facebook friends, and I try to keep a low number, because then if I have like hundreds, and I had like 100 250 a couple of years ago, it just it goes nowhere, you know. I mean, it's a mess. So if you like what I'm saying, if you feel that we are on the same level, or we dig same things, don't be afraid, send me a request. I prefer those kind of people. I prefer spiritual people. I prefer people who understand conspiracy. I definitely prefer those people over my old friends from high school, and but I prefer my friends from high school over the you know casual people I met around you know. Most of the Facebook pages are well polished websites where people basically hide themselves behind it. I'm very politically incorrect. I'm concerned about things which are going on, and okay, yeah, this is the last thing I need to say. Microphone moved a little bit. It's a cheap microphone. I hope you can hear all this. One thing which is again repeating again in my meditations, and I really need to say it, is my soul is, she's always explaining me, Kruno, please do not hate Muslims. There is no reason for you to hate Muslims, because, and then I see like like earth, something like this, and then I see like 80% soulless, 20% soul. Your people like you, been incarnated same in the Muslim world as well. These people are going through the same mind control. You're going in a different way, and on top of that, you are recycling on this planet anyway. So hating Muslims will be like hating your past and possibly your future. So you know, there is no really need for that, and then in that state of mind I do understand that absolutely it's not needed to feel fear or hate towards them. Another thing I need to say, me as a person, I'm of course extremely worried about Europe. I am very worried about the virtual hate I can feel mounting against Europeans, what's going on in Europe, massive rapings, murders, terrorism, and so on. Yes, I know that Illuminati are running both groups, and Illuminati are nothing but the victims of rape and mind control done by the reptiles, and reptiles are pretty much the lowest echelon of the demonic hierarchy. Up you have more. Another digression before I go. Every Illuminati family has a multi-generational demon, which is something like imagine like a house. Imagine this being Illuminati house with a family inside, and inside that family, of course, typical conditioning is going on. Children being raped. Multiple personality disorders being created and then programmed into sub-personalities, and whole thing. And then about that you have something like an owl, let's say, something like entity which is simply dwelling. Virtually these people are doing for that entity, and that entity then is just a part of another of that hierarchy of metaphysical evil, which is more like a corporation. Everybody gets a piece of energy. When Illuminati are leeching us, they're getting a piece of the energy, and most of it goes up, and this is how it goes. This is why they shine, this is why they are illuminated, and of course Illuminati can see this. They can see your aura, they can see your thoughts, not all of them, those who are sold and those who are skilled. They can see this, and this is why they brag. You know, they like to brag with this. You see how big Horus eyes Katy Perry has? This is the symbol of what? Huh? This is the symbol of pineal gland. Okay. So you can, if you know this picture, then you can recognize it. This is the human brain sliced. Hypothalamus is here, and the whole area around looks exactly like Eye of Horus, right? This is the meaning of the Eye of Horus, means ability to see. This is the original Egyptian hieroglyph. This is the real picture of a human brain, and this is the bragging, and she's walking on the top of the pyramid, because in this video she represents the goddess, I guess I feel it like a goddess Isis. So or Isis. So another thing, I'm just gonna finish with this. This is sodium peroxide, and if you really wanna have ability to see, in this case you must forget about alcohol, about cigarettes. Do I have to say crystal meth? Yeah. If you ever been using that extensively, I would say for you it's a late bye-bye. You're zombie. But in this case you're probably not watching this video. So if you wanna have a healthy teeth, and if you wanna have not your pineal gland poisoned by this fluoride, which is essentially rat poison and first time used by the Nazis in the concentration camps to keep inmates or sufferers docile, then do this. Put 1/3 of the sodium chloride in a small lid like this, small cup. This is for the oral hygiene. And then 2 small cups of water. By the way, this was the bottle somebody from the school threw on me when I was meditating behind the school during the break time. It landed like 3-4 meters away. I kept it because I wanted to ask students who done it, but then I said, okay, I don't really want to confront with people, right? Especially if you're of the wrong color. So 1/3 of peroxide, 2/3 of water, that's it. It's bubbly. Do not swallow it. And it's effectively killing your bacteria. That's what peroxide does it. It kills bacteria. Then you simply spit it out. Here we go to the pissing ground close to my window. And now you learned another thing. I heard about this thing in 2007 from a friend of mine. I did not trust him because I didn't know what's a peroxide. For me it was simply a poison. In Croatia you can't really walk into the pharmacy and buy peroxide. Here it costs you 25 cents, 1,000 real, or 20 cents. In Croatia you need to fill up some form that you bought it. They make quite a bit of the problems. So I didn't use it, and in the meantime I lost like 2 teeth, and one is about to go now. And when that happened, when I I was in Taweng, and I had a caries, and then it came to me, obviously. Yeah, right. So up to you, really. But this is it. This is the end of the message. Thank you for watching. It's been 45 minutes. I was going from one topic to another. Yes, you probably have the question, how did he do it? How did he connect? I simply connect by first connecting with my soul, and to connect with my soul effectively, I need to go through the Malangas exercises. I need to say what I forgot to say. You have 3 or 4 different exercises, Simbad, Triad, and Simbad, Triad, color simulation, and so on. And then you have exercises where with your soul, when you are trying to catch different implants in your body, in your aura, and destroy them. Final one, which made a crucial impact on my life, is the etheric astral impact you all have, which is virtually part of the Lucifer, which is called Lux. A small piece of dot of light, and as long as you have that in your aura, that will automatically influence your minds, your thoughts, your feelings very effectively. Once that is out, you can call yourself clean. And the feeling I have in my body, since I started to do these exercises, is virtually feeling of cleansiness. I feel clean from inside. I wish I could guide you or explain you more about these exercises, and if you have questions, maybe in the next videos I could, but you need to ask me questions. So this is why I highly appreciate his teachings of Dr. Corrado Malanga, because he, as a physicist, he had a deep and profound understanding of the universe and how dimensions work, and everything. So thank you, Dr. Malanga. And after that, once connected with my soul, she could take it over, and free of the inner interferences, she could pretty much work. But in order to work perfectly, she needed to move me to a safer surrounding, much safer than the Phnom Penh. You know, in Phnom Penh, and this was my darkest hour. In Phnom Penh, guys, they've been really shooting me in a head. Like, I was sitting working on my computer when I virtually, I mean, I was feeling heat on my body, but I really learned how to live with that, okay? And then I heard the buzzing sound in my head, and I moved, and then it went off. And I said, oh my God. It was so strong. Then when I was picking my bag to put the water inside, it was after 10 p.m. And when I was running out, it virtually hit me in this area and burned me. You know, it came to that point. And then I put Sakorea folly on walls. That helped. But oh yeah, before I go with this, Montag, Tony Montag, on his website you have very cool solution for the microwaves. He's apart from the folly, which I learned that from Carissa Conti. Thanks to her, I could say I'm alive, right? Thanks to many people, I'm alive. But he also figured out the way how to put cords, how to basically connect that aluminium folly with the source of electricity, and then with that kind of electric blanket to protect, to catch the electrons which are they're shooting from the microwaves. So this is a very good tip for you who are now being hit by the microwaves, to go to the Tony Montag's site. Very, very intelligent guy. And yeah, oh yeah, one more thing. You heard about Illuminati complaining and system pretty much complaining about the overpopulation and how it's more and more difficult for them to control the people. Well, guess what? It's really like this. Unbelievable as it sounds, they are really areas with very small number of Illuminati. As I say, in the Taveng, they had only one family. So nobody was microwaving me there, nobody, because they've been all far away. And here in this area in Banlung, is the same thing. In this rural provincial part of third world country, they really are in the low numbers, which is working excellent for me. However, in Phnom Penh, 3 or 4 days in Phnom Penh, and I already hate the whole world. Yeah, more Illuminati around you, and they are concentrating in the urban areas. More difficulties to live. That's how it is. Okay. I always feel that I have something else to say, but I think I'll finish with this. It's 5 o'clock and I start in 30 minutes, so I have to prepare for class anyway. Thank you for watching me. Please subscribe if you like, comment please, yes, if you have good comments, and if you find me on a Facebook, explain me how you came to me, and we probably gonna be friends. If you are a spiritual person, especially if you are in conspiracy, then we have base for conversation, right? Good luck to you guys. I wish I could help more my fellow Morgellon sufferers, because I know that you guys suffer because you have souls, and that makes you my people. You can get cured, that's for sure. Oh yes, and that was on my mind, but I didn't have time to get there. Ganja oil. Okay, ganja oil is also helping with the Morgellons, because Morgellons, they have biological part on them. They come with different fungus and bacteria and so on. So, and ganja is effectively killing everything biological. I had in my mind, I could also see endocannabinoids as a little pieces of fat also attaching themselves to Morgellons, and as well, I could see it in my meditation, but I would say this was not the principal source of curing, although it was part of the package. So definitely go for the ganja oil, marijuana oil if you have Morgellons. They're so definitely gonna help you on at least these two levels. First of all, they are masters of destroying any biological shit. Okay, they can even enter the in the cell itself. Antibiotics can't. Okay, this is the huge advantage, and they are intelligent. Endocannabinoids are intelligent because marijuana is holy plant. Okay, it's the materialization of divinity itself. And second thing is they are excellent antidepressives, and if you have Morgellons, if you've been tortured, you need antidepressives. Okay, and it's excellent for that. So take it. This you can take to the bank. Really, this is it. Go for ganja. Ganja is good. Thank you, folks, and good luck to you. May the truth, which is love, smile favorably upon you.